You bought a car, you paid for it, you own it. But what if I told you that the company that made it can race your car tonight while it's sitting on your driveway, change how it drives, add features, remove features, or decide that something you already paid for now needs a monthly subscription? This isn't science fiction. This is happening right now, and almost nobody understands what's really going on under the hood, not mechanically, but digitally. Today we are breaking down software-defined vehicles, the biggest shift in how cars are built and owned since the invention of internal combustion engines. I am going to explain what it actually means in engineering terms, show you which companies are winning this race, and at the end tell you exactly what this means for your wallet the next time you buy a car. Let's get into it. To understand what a software-defined vehicle is, you need to understand what came before it. Think back to a car from the 1990s. Almost everything in that car was mechanical or electromechanical. The engine was controlled by a carburetor. The steering was hydraulic. Even the brakes were purely physical system. Press the pedal, fluid moves, caliper squeezes, car stops. Simple, direct, physical. Then in the late 1990s and 2000s, engineers started adding some small computers called ECUs, electronic control units, to manage individual functions. One ECU for the engine, one for the transmission, one for the airbags, one for the windows, one for the door locks. And here's the thing, these ECUs didn't really talk to each other. Each one was a self-contained black box, programmed once at the factory, and it did exactly one job for the entire life of the car. By the time we reached modern vehicles, the number of ECUs functioning within a vehicle had increased to approximately 50, with some premium vehicles running over 100. Each one was from a different supplier, running different software, speaking different communication protocols. Rivian's CEO R.J. Scarin's described this perfectly. He called it a system of which nothing architect as a system. Imagine building a house where the electrician, the plumber, the havoc guy, and the carpenter never talk to each other and all use incompatible materials. That's what the inside of a traditional car's computer system looked like. So what changed? Here's the core idea. Simple analogy first. Your old Nokia phone from 2003 was hardware defined. The buttons were fixed. The software was burned in. You couldn't update it, change it, or add apps. What you bought at the store was what you had forever. Your smartphone today is software defined. Same hardware can run a banking app, a camera, a GPS, a game. Software updates improve the camera without touching the lens. New features appear. Old features get removed. The hardware is a platform. The software defines what it actually does. SDVs behave more like smartphone on wheels. They support over-the-air updates, so new features, improvements, or bug fixes can be downloaded remotely. But here is the engineering part that most people miss. To make this possible, automakers had to completely rethink the electrical architecture of a car. Instead of 100 small ECUs that don't talk to each other, a software-defined vehicle uses one or two powerful central computers, high-performance compute units that controls everything. Think of it like replacing 100 single-purpose calculators with one powerful laptop. This zonal approach also reduces wiring complexity by up to 25% reduction in wire length, lowers manufacturing cost, improves serviceability. Tesla was the first to do this at scale, building their car around a centralized compute architecture from day one. That's exactly why Tesla could push a software update that actually added horsepower into existing cars. The hardware was capable, the software just hadn't unlocked it yet. And now every automaker on earth is racing to copy this approach. For 45% of automotive OEMs and suppliers surveyed in a 2026 industry report, the transition to SDVs is now their number one strategic priority, ranking higher than even electric vehicles. Let that sink in. Software-defined vehicles are now a bigger priority than EVs for nearly half the industry. Now, here is where it gets really interesting and a little uncomfortable. If you are a fan of Western automakers, over-the-air updates, that is OTA, are the heartbeat of the software-defined vehicles. It's how the car improves after you buy it. And right now there is a massive gap between who is doing it well and who is faking it. In 2025, BYD released approximately 200 software updates across its Ocean and Dynasty brands. Tesla by comparison had only 16. Toyota and Volkswagen had 8 and 5 respectively. Read that again. BYD pushed 200 updates in a single year. Toyota pushed 8. That's not a gap, that's a defined planet. Chinese manufacturers appear to be leading in the OTA update sphere. While the concept was pioneered by Tesla, The evidence suggests Western manufacturers are lagging significantly, and BYD's approach goes deep. They are running their own proprietary operating system architecture called Swansea, designed around centralized computing with constant software iteration baked into the product lifecycle from day one. Meanwhile, NIO launched SkyOS, their proprietary vehicle OS, and is using generative AI through the system called World Model to simulate complex driving scenarios and accelerate software development cycles. Stellantis reported delivering over 94 million OTA updates in 2023 alone, but even that impressive number comes with a catch. Many of those were minor infotainment and map patches, not deep system-level changes. The real test of an SDV isn't just how many updates you push, it's how deep the software goes. Can it change how the car drives? Can it improve battery efficiency? Can it add a new driver assistant feature 6 months after you bought the car? Tesla and the leading Chinese brands? Yes. Most traditional automakers? Not yet. Alright, now we get to the part that's going to make you either very angry or very aware. Here is the business model hiding inside the software-defined vehicle revolution. When your car is essentially a computer on wheels, when software controls everything, automakers suddenly have a new revenue opportunity they have never had before. They can charge you after you bought the car, not once, every month. The most infamous example, BMW launched $18 monthly subscription for heated seats, despite the hardware being present in roughly 90% of their vehicles. Think about what that means from an engineering standpoint. The heating element is physically installed in your seat. The wire is there, the relay is there. The only thing standing between you and a warm seat is the line of code that says logged subscription required. Customers felt they were paying double for features their cars already possessed, and the outrage was swift and merciless. BMW eventually backed down on their specific feature in 2023. But here is the critical detail everyone missed. Even after backing off on heated seats, BMW hasn't given up on subscription. The company still sees a case for charging ongoing fees for software-based features, especially those that need cloud services, data crunching or regular updates. And BMW is not alone. GM reportedly made $2.7 billion in realized revenue from the OnStar and Super Cruise subscription last year, and predicts $3.1 billion in realized revenue in 2026. Their CFO called the margin on this remarkably large. Toyota charges a monthly fee to use the remote start-stop function via their app, a function the key fob already does for free. Lexus charges a subscription for the in-dash GPS. BMW initially made Apple CarPlay a one-time upgrade for $300, then changes it to $80 per year, before finally abolishing the fee after major backlash. The direction of travel is clear. Updates can unlock great features like enhanced autopilot, turning vehicles into subscription-based platforms. Your car is becoming less of a product and more of a service. IDTech X forecasts feature-based monetization revenues to experience a 30 to 34% compound annual growth rate through 2035. Translation: the subscription model for cars is just getting started, and automakers are counting on it growing at 30% a year for the next decade. Let's put some numbers on this so you understand the scale on what's happening. The global software-defined vehicle market is valued at approximately $134.7 billion in 2025 and is estimated to reach $726 billion by 2032, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 27.2%. Analysts forecast that by 2030, more than half of new vehicles sold will be feature-centralized, high-performance compute architectures, and the semiconductor companies knows this. NVIDIA's automotive segment reported $567 million in revenue in Q1 of 2026, up to 72% year-over-year. Toyota, GM, Mercedes, Volvo, BYD, NIO, they are all building their next generation vehicles on NVIDIA's Drive platform or equivalent high-performance compute systems. This isn't a niche trend. This is the entire automotive industry reorganizing itself around software as the primary value driver. So what do you actually do with this information? First, check the architecture before you buy. When shopping for a new car, ask, does this vehicle have centralized compute platform? Does it support full OTA updates, not just infotainment patches, but system-level updates? If the answer is yes, your car will likely to improve over time. If the answer is no, you are buying a car that will feel like outdated every year compared to competitors that do update. Second, read the subscription fine print. Before signing any car purchase agreement, go to the manufacturer's connected service page and look at what features expire after the trial period. Navigation, remote start, driver assistance, safety alert. These are increasingly subscription locked. Know what you are walking into. Third, The resale value equation is changing. A software-defined vehicle that's actively updated can actually hold its value better than a car that doesn't update because the software experience stays current. With the ability to receive continuous improvements via OTA updates, SDVs can retain and even increase their value over time. This is a real factor now when thinking about long-term ownership cost. Fourth, Chinese brands are coming and they are technically ahead. If you are dismissing BYD, NIO, Zpeng purely on brand recognition, you are ignoring the fact that on the SDV dimension, they are genuinely running laps around most Western manufacturers right now. The gap matters. The car you buy in the next 5 years will be more software than steel. It will update while you sleep. It will unlock features through an app. It will be part of a revenue model that doesn't end when you drive off the lot. Understanding how this technology works, the architecture, the business model, the competitive landscape gives you power that most car buyers simply don't have. That's exactly why this channel exists. I am Tridip and my job is to make sure you understand what's happening under the hood, all of it. If this video made you think differently about the car sitting on your driveway, hit subscribe because next week we are going deep on hybrid powertrains, Toyota's TSS versus BYD's latest DMI system, and why that battle is far more important than anyone is talking about. Drop in the comments, would you pay a monthly fee for a car feature that is already physically in your car? I want to read what you think. See you next week.